I'm going to tear open this ball joint and further explain each subcomponent that allows this ball joint to function. I also have a separate video that goes into how this works on a vehicle, including some symptoms to look out for on a bad, failing ball joint. That video will be in the description. Anyway, these are all the tools I'll be using for those interested. Pretty much an angle grinder and an oscillating tool and some other basic handheld tools and safety equipment. Before I tear this open, let's look at the weight of this ball joint. Nowadays, car companies with electric vehicles look deeply into the weight of every single component, or at least they should. Every bit of weight reduction ultimately provides more range for a vehicle and even more of a cost savings for the manufacturer, which of course is what they really care about. However, as it relates to ball joints, safety is important, which is why steel is a preferred material over aluminum for ball joints, and why many suspension components are still made of steel today. Kind of a tongue twister, right? With that being said, let's see how heavy each piece is. This ball joint weighs 1 pound, 1 ounce. And the nut weighs about 0.8 ounces. And the snap ring weighs 0.2 ounces. So the total weight is just over 1 pound, 2 ounces. And with the box and shipping package, you're looking at an extra weight of a little over 1 pound, 4 ounces at the minimum. Now, let's get to the fun part and tear this open. Cutting this open with an angle grinder surprisingly took quite a long time. I probably spent over 30 minutes carefully cutting this open from the sides and the top as to not damage the insides or the rubber boot. So here I used the oscillating tool right by the edges as to not damage the rubber boot, and then finished opening it with the angle grinder. So here's how the rubber boot looks like. Damn. Ooh, that's still hot. I'll talk more about this rubber boot later and the drops of grease inside. One last quick cut and I should get it. And yes, I know, I should have used a vise to hold this down. I definitely would have cut this open faster, but I want to show this outdoors with better lighting. And as a result, I had to hold this with a few bricks. Sometimes you just gotta improvise. 2 nice cuts on each side. Next, I'm using pliers to hold the ball joint stem because it's still hot. I should be able to pry this open now.
Nice. Like that. Got it.
So these are all the components that make up this ball joint. Partially threaded ball stud with retainer ring, rubber boot, and the metal casing housing. I did a nice job cutting this open. Anyway, let's take a close look at this metal casing. This casing is usually pressed in to seal this entire unit. You can see this plastic bearing on the inside with some slices evenly spaced out and some orange grease. The orange grease helps reduce friction caused from the rotational movement of the ball stud and also helps protect from corrosion. And the slices in the bearing further help the grease lubricate continuously the ball stud as it rotates against the plastic bearing. Here's the rubber boot protective cap with some grease in it as well. And just like with the plastic bearing, there is a certain amount of grease drops in here to help with lubricating as well as to help protect against water and debris from getting inside. Now this is a brand new ball joint. In most cases, this grease will be smeared around more evenly in a used ball joint. Now let's look at this ball stud. The bottom is threaded, so a lock nut can screw on here. This appears to be solid. But for the hell of it, I wanted to see if this was a solid steel ball or if it was hollow on the inside. I cut halfway deep and can confirm that this is a solid steel ball. So nice construction on the top of this ball stud. Some companies may skimp on making this solid to save on material costs, but not this one, so that's good. By the way, this product I tore open is from CTR Central, which makes aftermarket car parts. Moving on, then there's a metal ring of sorts. The cuts on the side are from my cutting tool, but this solid ring helps keep the ball stud inside the metal casing, which means the ball joint stud won't pop out from the wheel area, causing the vehicle to be inoperable. If this ring is missing from a bad ball joint, then that may be the reason it failed, because the ring is no longer inside, securely supporting the ball stud. So let's count how many components and supplies this actually has. 1 plastic bushing, orange grease, metal casing, 4 the ball stud, the rubber boot, another kind of grease, the bearing retainer ring, lock nut, and the circlip. So 9 pieces total. And just for fun, now like before, I'll weigh the subcomponents that make up this ball joint. The plastic bushing weighs about 0.1 ounces, the metal casing weighs 7.8 ounces, the rubber boot weighs 0.9 ounces, the ball stud weighs 7.1 ounces, almost the same weight as the metal casing. The circlip is half an ounce. So all these components come to a little over 1 pound or 16 ounces. And with the lock nut and circlip, the other 2 separate components for this ball joint assembly, the total weight comes to 1 pound and 2 ounces, just like before. I'll piece this back together so you can enjoy all the pieces that make up this ball joint assembly. I thought this was quite interesting and hope you found this to be interesting as well. Please let me know your thoughts or opinions on this video in the comments, and if you enjoyed this, please tap the like button and subscribe for more cool videos like this. You can also watch the other ball joint video I mentioned earlier on how this works and learn of some symptoms to look out for a bad ball joint. That is in the description with all tools I used, as well as a link to that video, which you can watch right now. Until next time, have a great day or night. Like an eggshell.